Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Sold on Love from the Orange Chairs, where we talk real estate, real love, and real life. I'm Paul, and this is my wonderful, wonderful husband, Fernando.
Hi, everybody. Together we are the Lord Salnor team, husbands, realtors, and business partners. In our podcast, we mix real estate tips with real life moments from our journey as a couple with a 30 years age gap,
I love
working, living, and
it.
loving together side by side.
I love the way 30 years still can't use. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just being funny about it. So, whether you're buying your first home, looking for another home, investing, renting, and yes, selling, or honestly, just love a good love story, there's something here for you.
This is All in Love from the Orange Shirts.
So before we sort of dive into our topics today, we've got a few things to share. We thought maybe we'd start with, or at least I thought maybe I probably should have told you, but I'm going to tell you anyway, by sharing maybe something that happened last week that stood out to you. So something
Okay.
maybe that was good. It was a hell of a week again. We were busy as anything. So I thought maybe let's share something maybe good happened. So how about you go and then I'll share mine.
Well, for me, it was the moment that our client finally got the keys of her pool rental home. It was very nice because that is what she always wanted, and seeing her so happy and
Yeah.
smiling, it was really nice. Even when it was a rental home, that was everything that she was looking for, and she got it with us. So that was very
Yeah, that
rewarding.
that was, and we both really liked the property. If you remember, I remember we both were like, "Man, we should get something like this. This was super darn nice."
Yes,
So,
I
um,
love the property
yeah,
actually.
it was beautiful, and I know that she really liked it too. I love that. For me, it was having the opportunity to negotiate a contract for some buyers that we've been working with for quite some time. It was nice to finally see that home shopping sort of journey with them come to a good place. So that was really nice to do that. So
Yes, and I love that about us because we both really enjoy helping people to make their dreams come true
yeah,
in all these real estate needs. That is
yeah,
a very complicated thing, I
it,
guess, sometimes.
it is. And plus, I know how I feel. I love looking at home. So it for me, while it's work, it's also a lot of fun.
So let's just start talking about our first part of the podcast
Okay.
because, we like to divide our podcast in different sections. So it's like kind of a little bit more organized, I guess.
Well, you're the organized one. I just do what you tell me. So,
So yeah, let's start with the first part
all right.
of our first segment, like we call it, and is what even is the Fed and what they do.
Yep. So, good question, and I'll do my best to sort of set this up so we can start talking about it. But when you talk about feds and interest rate and all that, I know it can be kind of boring, but it is actually super important. And as a buyer and a seller, it's really good information for you to know. So, the Fed announced on Wednesday that it's making no change to interest rates, despite some pressure from the White House. So let's talk about what the impact is for you, what that means. And I'm sure since Wednesday, some of you, especially if you're in our industry in particular, whether any type of real estate industry, you're probably talking about it. So,
Yes, and don't worry because we're not gonna get all economists on you because we are not experts on it. But we are gonna go in breaking down in a way that you can understand what all this means. So in an easy way, so you can understand what we are talking about.
yeah, let's be honest. When you say feds, it can be kind of boring. People get a little glassy eyed. They kind of think it's not a lot of fun, like watching paint dry, that sort of thing. So we'll try to keep away from that, but we do want you to have some basics and some things to think about when you do hear about interest rates, because everybody has sort of their misconceptions on it. So we thought maybe we'd try and make it make sense.
Yes, that's right. But you should trust us with this because this is very important, especially when you're thinking in buying a home. So let's just start with the basics.
You got it.
So let me ask you this: what even is the Fed and what they do?
That's a good one. So the Fed is short for Federal Reserve. It's one of those, quick things that you sort of easier to say Fed. Think of it like the U.S.'s financial sort of thermostat. When the economy is running hot, pricing is rising, maybe there's too much spending, you tend to see rates rise to cool some things off. Okay, when the country or when the economy is sort of chilly, in other words, not a whole lot going on, you might see the rates go lower to heat things up, to get people to spend. The
Okay.
lower the rates, you tend to see more people active and spend. And with some of the recent economic news that you've sort of seen with some of the job numbers that came out, and even some of the unknown tariff stuff, if you will, and we're not getting political on you, so we're not saying anything good or bad about it. It's news in which can have some uncertainty, and that's when you tend to see more discussion about interest rates and what that might mean.
So it's basically like a Goldilocks and the three birds, but with
Okay, that's
rates.
good. Okay, that's good. You're right. Okay,
Like
I
not
see
too
that.
high, not too
Okay,
cold,
I like
like
that.
in the middle.
I like
So
that.
for those people that doesn't know what is the Goldilocks, because for me at the first time I was like, what is Goldilocks means? So when he told me what it was, also in Spanish we called it Ricitos de Oros y los Tres Osos. So it's basically the same story, but putting just rates to it, like
It
a price,
it
kind
also
of.
it also sounds better when you say it in Spanish, just for the record. So,
Ricitos de
yes,
Oros.
that sounds so much better than Goldilocks. But anyway, and he's right. It is sort of about finding that just right thing, not too cold, not too hot. This one's just right. But here's the kicker that I think people don't always realize: when the Fed changes rates, it doesn't always mean that it's going to show up in the mortgage market, and we'll walk you through kind of why that might be. So
Okay, so uh, what if the Feds lower the rates? What happened then?
yeah, so typically that's good news, and most people immediately assume, well, the Fed's lower the rates, so my mortgage rate's going to be lower. And in theory, that could be true, but that doesn't actually happen. And the reason why that doesn't actually happen is sometimes when the market is indicating rates will drop, and like what we're starting to see now, and the president actually said something that maybe he hopes that September you'll see the Fed drop rates. A lot of times, the mortgage industry and the money behind that actually starts to pull down the rates anyway. So when the Feds make a change to rates, your mortgage rate may not change because it was already built in leading up to the weeks before. And so people
Okay,
are scratching their heads saying, well,
okay,
why didn't rates go down? The Fed dropped the rate. It doesn't always work out that way.
okay. So I get it like this, like so people understand a little bit more. I guess so. It's like signing up for a streaming service, but the next day they come with an offer. So you already paid the bill, so that is gonna change your bill because it's a new service or a
Right.
new offer. Okay,
Okay.
okay,
So that's kind of a cool way to look at it, I guess. I mean, the offer's already out there. You've already accepted it, and it's already built in to what you're doing. So it's
okay,
a good way to look at it.
okay.
So,
So
yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
now tell me about what happened when the Fed holds the rates and
Okay.
there's no change on it.
Like what we just went through. All right, the rates didn't change. The Fed didn't change any rates, but I will say this: if you've noticed the last few days, mortgage rates have come down ever so slightly, which could be what I said before, where the rates may come down in September. So you're already starting to see the market shift a little bit. But when rates don't get adjusted at all, it's really some stability in the market too. You, as a buyer, you have some surety, so to speak, good or bad, because it depends, where you're at, but you have some surety, the market's sort of stable, and you kind of know what you're getting ahead of time,
Okay.
right?
And what about if the rates actually are higher? So
Y-
it's like if it raises the rates.
Yeah, and that one nobody likes to see, because it always seems like when the Fed raises rates, the mortgage market reacts really fast, and you see rates go up. So you don't want to see that, because rates go up. Obviously, affordability can be a problem.
It's
Your
gonna be
month,
more difficult to find a
exactly.
place.
Yeah. I mean, maybe you'll find a place, but it's actually difficult to see if you can afford it, right? Because your payment will be higher.
Of
So it
course.
might take you out of the, maybe you could buy a $500,000 house, and then rates go up, and you suddenly see that the mortgage payment with that went up, and now you can only afford a $470,000 house.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
it
I
can
understand.
have that kind of effect.
Okay. So why is the market from buyers right now? That is another point that we're gonna talk
Yeah.
about. So what does that mean? Is like for someone shopping a home today, what is your advice or your thoughts for buyers and sellers right
Yeah.
now with all of these rates that we're talking
Yeah,
about?
no, great question. I would say first, get a good agent. That's us. But my sort of quick fire advice would be, and this one's probably the one that most buyers probably do and they need to try to avoid, but stop trying to time the market. You're not an economist. You're not sure what's going on. Just stop trying to wait 6 months. The market rates will go down. Well, 6 months ago, we had clients say that to us. Rates haven't moved basically in 6 months, have they? And yet, finally, after working with them, we explained to them, "Do you like the house? Buy the damn house." We'll talk
Yes.
about what to do with the rate later. So, I think that's the first thing: is just watch your local market, know what's going on. Stop paying attention to something in South Dakota that has nothing to do with South Florida, or stop worrying about what you're hearing out in California that has no impact in Miami. Pay attention to
Yes.
your local market,
Yes. Okay.
right?
So
Um,
also that something that I was gonna add to that, something that you have to keep in mind: rates are not saying of price. So the if the rates are lower or higher, it doesn't mean anything about the price, right? Like for example, some of our clients were saying that the prices were going down in platforms like Zillow, Rental.com, and things like that. Not because in those platforms the price go down, mean that the rates are going down either. That would just mean that it's the price of a specific property in that
yeah,
thing. It's not about in general.
yeah, that's a good comment again. I get what you're saying. I would just sort of package that with saying that there'll be some change in pricing depending on how rates move up or down, but not like what you're saying is right. Because Zillow now priced a property from 475 to 450 doesn't mean it's priced that way because interest rates dropped or went
Exactly.
up, right? Like it
So
they
is
there's
that
some
is
play
two
there.
different things.
Yeah,
That is two different
yeah,
things.
fair enough. The other thing I would say is so not only just don't time the market, stop trying to time the market, but the one B is focus on monthly payment. Typically, it's affordability issue anyway, and that's really what you see in interest rates anyway. Most people are payment shoppers. If you're not, that's terrific, and if you're in a position where you don't have to be a payment shopper, that's fantastic too. But most people are payment shoppers, and they want to be able to afford the payment.
Yes,
So,
and now that you're saying that, it came to my mind. If you're looking to rent a place and you're going to put like a down payment for $12,000 to just move into your place, why don't put that into a buying a house?
yeah,
And when you are looking for that house and you're already ready, pre-approved and all of that, don't feel scared of doing the next step and just getting it because of the rates right now. They are not coming down like you are thinking that they are coming down.
right,
It's not again happening what happened in COVID. That is
right,
not happening soon.
yeah.
So just go for it. Buy your property because why you keep paying money every month to a rental when you can just put that money to your own home every month?
Yeah, great point. Great advice. I agree. And we see that all the time. So just depending on your financial situation, but we would urge you, if you're going to put that kind of money down on a rental, maybe it's worthwhile to take a look at your mortgage qualification as well and see if you
Yeah,
qualify.
so you should ask this question to yourself. Do I prefer paying every month a rental or do I prefer paying every month my own mortgage?
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. And the third item, real quick, is just know that you can refinance later. The home generally is forever, or at least conceptually, that's what most people think. The rate is just a phase, or maybe another way to look at it is the home is longer term, and the rate is just a season, and seasons change. So prepare yourself that way.
Absolutely. And that is Tosha Pauline actually, because he has been saying this since 1985.
You couldn't have said like 1995 to make me sound
No,
just a
because
little
I
bit
mean, you have
younger.
been saying this for a long time. So,
I know. I'm guilty. I do pay attention to that. I mean, there's a number of different ways to say it, but at the end of the day, it's true. Actually, the rate is a point in time. The home you're making a major investment, normally incredibly emotional, and so that emotional connection to the house is where you want to be, and then you can, as like I said, seasons change. So pay attention to that. But the other thing to keep in mind is, there's no perfect time. And if you're waiting for a perfect time to buy a house, or at least for the perfect time for the rate, you could cause yourself a lot of aggravation because I could tell you now, rates go down lower. Let's say, just for argument in this conversation, they drop 1%.
Yes,
Okay.
that is normal.
So if you think there's three people fighting for that house at 1% rate drop, now you're probably going to be dealing with 7 or 8 people doing bids on that house.
Yes, and we are
So,
seeing
and we
this
see that.
over and over in our business right now because buyers hesitate when the rates are high, but then when they go down, the competition becomes harder.
Yeah, that's a great
What
point.
do I mean by this? Sometimes when you're buying a house and the rates are low, you have more opportunity to negotiate and all of this. But if the prices are really low, the rates are really low, it's not just gonna be you and 3 other people. It's gonna be you against 20 or 30 people just for that property. So
Yeah.
what happens is the price that you were thinking in paying for that when the rates are high, the price is going to become higher because you will have to bid more and put more to win the house basically,
Yeah.
because it's not going to be just your offer and 3 other offers. It's going to be yours multiple and other
Yeah.
multiple offers. It's going to
That's a
increase
great point.
10-20% more people offering things for that house because the rates went
Yep.
low, you know.
And we saw that during COVID as a great example where home prices shot through the roof, so to speak, or at least went up. I shouldn't say through the roof, but went up because we had pricing down and you had a lot of competition. And now some people are holding a home that they may have paid too much for, rates are up. Now they're trying to find buyers that can fit into that.
And they are not paying
the
that
pool
much money.
and the pool is smaller. So no, great point. So I would just kind of put a package on this or bow on this is you really can't control rates, to stop trying. And that's the best advice I can give. Just be ready on the things that you can control. Get your pre-approval, have your game plan, have the discussion, what, when, and why on the house that you want, those sorts of things. And let the rates, you can't control that, so let that fall where it may. But if you are focused on the things that you can control, you'll be in so much better buying position if and when rates
Absolutely.
came down. But if they didn't, you're still in good position.
Yes, and don't panic about the headlines. Rates go up, rates go down, but at home it's more about just the numbers. It's also about building your life. So headline is just still papers and viewers, but they not always tell a story behind everything.
Yeah, true. I agree. Totally said.
So okay, we are done playing Economist, and that was our 8 minute
Give or take.
money segment. So
if you have questions on any of this, you guys know you can drop us a DM. You can text. If you go on our social media, you'll see all of our phone numbers, all that. Feel free to ask any questions. And if you don't agree with us, give us a comment as well. We definitely share perspective from all sides of things. These are sort of our thoughts, but we are open to all different perspectives. So
absolutely. So in our podcast, we have like a section that is questions from you, the listeners, like the people that is listening to our podcast or see us in social media. They always send us questions by DM. So
Yep.
there's some questions that some people have been asking. We
Yep.
like to do this in our podcast. So let's start with the first one. You two seem to handle stressful real estate situations really well. So, how do you keep your relationship strong during high pressure deals? And is it like this in real life?
Oh, good Lord. So let's start with the fact that we both have a bit of a background in high pressure jobs, if you will. Very different, but him, you were a nurse at one time for a lot of years.
Yes.
And so I can't think of a whole lot more high pressure stuff than that. I don't care what anybody says. You can't be, it's one of those you can't be wrong type of things. And
yes, you cannot be wrong in
yeah,
that. You're
yeah.
wrong. You're basically
oops.
yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to hear oops. And in my career, I've had a lot of executive level positions, and those come with its share of high pressure. So I think from that perspective, we're used to it, and I think we both know how to handle the stress levels of those sorts of things. The other thing I would say is a lot of stress that a lot of people feel is actually self-inflicted, and a lot of self-inflicted stress comes from not taking care of something right away, putting off tomorrow what you could have done today. I mean, you name it. Those are a lot of things.
So
Yeah.
easy to happen.
So and also on top of that, I think the other thing that's important is which we love what we do. So sometimes even though it's stressful-ish, I still love it, and so I don't feel that certain way about it. So, and probably the other thing is, we just talk through things, and that helps.
Yes, and it took us a while to figure that out because we are not perfect. Sometimes when things go wrong, it's easy to blame the other one or to blame each other instead of like what is the problem. So what we are trying right now is actually to do us versus the problem instead of us versus us. What does that
Yeah,
mean for this?
that's great.
Because when you are working together, actually you can solve the problem. So we're trying that and we're still working on it.
I mean, look, I wish everything sounded all pie in the sky the way we are. I mean, we have our moments of what the hell did you do? I mean, so we're no different than anybody
Yeah.
else. So. All right, next question, and I like this one too. This is a good, honest question. You two have such great chemistry on the podcast, which is very nice to hear that. How much of it is scripted, and how much of it is just our real dynamic?
Well, we try to keep a simple game in this, and of course we plan our podcast ahead because we want to know what is the topic that we are talking about, but also, and we have few notes to go forward with that, and follow the important points that we want to try to show for you to learn about real estate a little bit more. But we like to have our ideas ready so it feels clear and focused for you. But really, it's just more like conversation
Yeah,
between us, like a normal conversation in the hot tub, like a normal conversation in during dinner,
yeah.
basically.
I think maybe they'll appreciate that more if we have a fight actually on camera. That would be scary yet revealing. That probably wouldn't be
Okay.
good. So to answer the question, this is us, and what Fernando said is spot on. We just want to make sure it all makes sense and flows. But outside of that, it's just we're just diving right in.
You wanna go with the
Nah,
next
you do
question?
this one.
Okay. What inspiring you to start this podcast, and what do you hope listeners walk away with after each episode? Okay, like for me, this is a mix of love and passion. I love my beautiful, uh, amazing husband, but also we have passion for what we do. So real estate keep us busy, and we see so many moments where our buyers or sellers they don't know what to expect. So we want to share a little bit of what we know, a little bit of our knowledge, so you can feel a little bit more safe and secure around all these things
Yeah,
that is real estate. Yeah, even if you are buying, selling, investing. So we want to share a little bit of that so you can be feel a little bit more comfortable around it. And also, as a uh, we want to share a little bit more of who is behind the Lorsa Elnor team, who is Paul and Fernando behind this podcast in real life. And as a gay couple, we have been having a lot of moments that people take assumptions about us.
yeah,
And it's hard sometimes, but we keep going, and this is
yeah,
who we are. This is
yeah.
Paul and Fernando. Not just because we are 30 years apart means that Paul take care of me and I marry Paul because of money, or I marry Paul because of papers, because that is not
Yeah.
the situation, but people assume that, and we run a lot with that in social media a lot.
Yep, we do, and I think that was part of the genesis of this was just for us to be able to tell our story. Because I do believe in if you want your story out there, then the best way to do that is tell your own narrative and let somebody else tell it for you. Right. That's one of the reasons why I think we post a lot. We talk about our relationship. It's nothing other than for us to share, and we have family all over the place. They get to know us a little bit more, and
Yes.
kind of just share what's happening. So, and then for me, candidly, I whether or not this makes sense for most, but I've lived a lot of life, and I think I have things I can share with other people to maybe either help them through some things that I accomplished really well or pitfalls to avoid. And and on top of that, I'm proud of us, and I want people to know who we are. And like I said, the best way to do that is to tell the story ourselves, and that's
Of
kind of
course.
where this
Of
came from.
course. Yes.
And I will say real quick that the one thing that I know that both Fernando and I were toying with, or sort of want to be sure of, is we're new agents together, right? We're a new team. So why should you listen to us? And I think our approach was, no, we're not trying to be, why should you listen to us? You should listen to us because we're going to tell you the truth. We're going to tell you what it's like. We're going to tell you as we fumble along the way and have big wins or have big losses, you're going to go through those with us and really appreciate the fact that, we're not sitting here saying we're the only agents in town. We are the only agents in town. No, I'm just kidding. But we are saying that, we're real and we
Yes,
want
we
you to
are
feel that
those
from
type
us.
of agents that are going to tell you the truth, and we are going to tell you a little bit of like the real part of real estate. Things that we
The
didn't
real part of
actually.
real estate. I love
Yeah, the things that we
that.
actually didn't speak about. That it's
Yeah.
easier to say, okay, I'm gonna go take the class, take the test, and have my real estate license and start selling or
Yeah.
that type of things. But it's not that easy. It's a little bit more complicated than people think.
Yeah, exactly. So we were just sharing our story along the way.
Yes. So let's go with our next part of the
All right.
podcast, that is, when does age matter?
Yep. So we just want to sort of talk about not only the age difference between us, but why does age matter in anything, right? So it's kind of a double meaning here.
Yeah, it's basically we're talking about two things here. We're talking about homes and we're talking about relationships.
Right. And so when you think about homes, the easiest thing to think about obviously is, do you buy an older home or a newer home? Why do you do that? What is it that you have to pay attention to? Older homes come with charm, character, craftsmanship, things like that.
Yeah, but they also can mean older systems,
Yep.
the plumbing, the roof, the electrical that needs update. That is a little bit of extra money surprise that you didn't expect because it's an older home.
Yeah, I'm smiling and kind of laughing because I'm thinking, as he was talking about plumbing and roofs and electrical, like roof no hair, I'm just wondering if you were talking about me.
No, not really.
Not
Maybe
really.
a little bit, but
All right. So
like just like homes, also people need updates at some point in life. But that is up to everybody. If you want to age with grace, it's up to you. You want to have a little bit of, I don't know, Botox, a little bit of fillers, facelift. That is up to you too. So it's like you don't have to feel embarrassed about it.
yeah, I need all of that, so I'm good with that.
So now that we are talking about this topic, you don't have to feel scared about a home because it's an older home.
No.
And in case it needs a new roof or new plumbing or a little bit of an electrical work, that is just also little things.
Yeah.
This home can go for years
Yeah.
and years and years.
Yeah, definitely. And we talked about that in the home inspection last week. So
Yes.
with the mind sort of on the older homes, but let's talk about newer homes. With newer homes, you get more of a modern layout. Basically, a lot of the newer homes are more energy efficient and usually have a lot more amenities and certainly need fewer repairs. So that's one way to look at them.
Yes, exactly. It's kind of like about personality versus the same old thing, And that bring us together to the age conversation in relationships.
Yeah, there's so many things I want to say to that statement, none of which. Anyway, I agree. It is that, and as many as you know, Fernando and I have 30 years between us, and the question that I think people want to know is, does it matter? And I think back to the 2 years we've been together. I honestly cannot remember a single conversation that we had that of any consequence in any way, shape, or form that had anything to do with age. We've had moments of, I might say, well, 30 years ago, and you're like, I don't know, whatever the hell, I wasn't here 30 years ago. But other than that, I don't think we've had a single conversation where age has been a factor in that combo or argument,
No, never.
even.
No, never.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just like I bring a little bit of more energy or bring new ideas about like what is going on right now in the world,
Yeah. Plus, the fact that you're technologically a hell of a lot more advanced than I am on certain things.
Well,
Is
I
quite
don't
helpful.
know about that, but I try. I try.
And supposedly I bring patience because I'm older, but I think we both know that's probably not true. I mean, my parents are probably laughing at this right now, but so apparently I'm supposed to bring patience, which I do.
But it's like the pro here is always to be a balance, became everything a balance. Learning from each other, and even if you have two different perspectives of things, if you actually put them together, it's gonna be better.
Yeah, I agree. And if you had a con or anything like that, I guess sometimes our interests are in different places. We see that in not just us, but um, we show a lot of homes. We do a lot of buyer work, and one of the things we see a lot is buyers are kind of at different places, right? They're one wants this, one wants that, and they really haven't necessarily had that deep conversation of where we give it in or what do we need. And so we'll have somebody lean towards an older home and somebody else leaning towards a newer home, and we're mediating through all of this as best we can too.
Yeah, so basically at the end, age is like homes, Age only matters if you don't maintain it.
Yeah.
I will say that. So always keep the love update and the communication strong, and it will work beautifully.
Yeah, I actually love that. Age only matters if you maintain. That's pretty cool, actually. All right. So our next segment is surprise questions that we ask each other. So I'll let you start with the first one if you want,
Absolutely.
since I don't know what it is yet.
So, if you could plan our dream date anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Well, so we both love the beach, but I feel like we can do that anywhere. So, and we're both, well, I'm certainly a hopeless romantic, and I think you are too. So, I'm going to go with a cool date, which I have always wanted to do, which would be go to Italy, particularly Venice, where we could be on a gondola,
Okay.
bottle of wine, maybe in Tuscany, something like that, and then have a stroll around Venice or swim around Venice, and then eat a lot of gelato because I love gelato.
Okay. I love gelato and I love Italy
Yeah,
actually.
think about it: carbs, wine, and you. What else do I need?
Yeah, it's perfect. But I was gonna say Paris,
Okay,
the sunset picnic under the Eiffel Tower. But okay, we can eat our ways through Italy.
Why don't we do both? Nothing wrong with that. Why don't you? Oh, I'll ask the next question. Okay,
Yes.
because you haven't seen this one. So let's see. What's the one thing I do that always makes you laugh?
Oh, wow. Let me think about that. I will say that when you try to dance a little bit in the kitchen, those little chimichimi dances, that is adorable because it's like a little chaos in the kitchen while he's cooking and he's trying to dance. And I have proof of that because sometimes I'm in the bedroom and he's cooking in the kitchen. He's listening to music, and then like, okay, I'm gonna sneak out a little bit and see what he's doing, and I see him dancing, so I start filming him, like hide him,
God help me.
and he doesn't know, and then I just start laughing. So when he sees me, I just stop filming, and then it's like I have proof.
Oh God. So therefore, you can have whatever you want because I really don't want to see that on the internet. If I had to say the same thing to you, I would say that I kind of laugh every time you get maybe just a wee bit dramatic on stuff. Like for instance, when the hair doesn't quite go the right way, or it's sort of you're having a meltdown, it's sort of an Oscar-worthy performance. Not me. I don't have any hair. It's you.
Well, I'm talking about hair. I'm talking about a little bit dramatic sometimes.
You can't use what I said. I just said that about you.
So let's go to the next question.
All right.
If
Deal.
our relationship was a movie, what would be the title?
How about love, laughter on repeat? Because we are always freaking laughing. So I think it's a lot of that.
Yeah, that is perfect because we are sometimes going out for a drink and then coming back home and we are just laughing of anything and people just look at us like, okay, what they're laughing
We don't
of?
know what
Are
the
they
hell we're laughing
crazy or
about.
something?
It is true.
So for me, it would be he's early and always late because that's basically our life.
Yeah, I'm. You know what? I'm going to plead the fifth again on this one because I'm not going to say anything else other than yes, he's right.
But I try to be on time most of the time when it's like clients and things like that. But when
That
it's,
he's good with. That he's good with.
when it's just going to, I don't know, let's say a pool party that nobody's waiting for us, and he say let's leave at 12:30 and it's 1 and I'm just getting ready. It doesn't matter because nobody's waiting for us.
I love how you clarify. So that's I can't even. All right, I'm I'm gonna leave that one there. That's the best. All right. I
Next
forget. Am
question.
I asking you? I think this.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I thought. This is mine. Okay, what's one little habit of mine that secretly drives you crazy, but you love me anyway? There can't be anything. I mean,
Yes,
I can't think of
it's a
anything.
few things, but I will say this one that is very interesting.
A few. You have a list?
Yes, I
Uh,
could probably have a list complete like
uh,
on my phone. I don't know, but I will say when you leave your files in our home office everywhere, like my side of the office is perfect, organized. You can find anything that you are looking for there. If I go to find something that he asked me for, like the other day, he calls me from a showing.
that's true.
Hey, can you look in my desk for this file with this? Like, oh my god, I was like, they were like, I don't know, 40 different files. They didn't
That's
even
because we're
have
busy.
names or anything.
That's because we're busy.
So it's like it's basically that. So he leaves all his files around the office. So it's like basically like I'm looking for a treasure, like with a map.
Oh, come
So I
on.
need like a map looking
Yeah,
for
but
a treasure in his files.
you have to admit my coaching skills are very good because I coached you how to find that, didn't I? I said, sit down at my desk or sit down in my chair,
Mhm.
right? I told you where to sit, where to
Mhm.
turn. I knew right where that file was. That you got to admit, that's true.
Because that was the file that you
Just
left.
saying. Just
That was
saying.
the file that you left behind, like
You-
right in the top of the files.
Okay, stop with my secret. All right, you're killing me. I'm gonna answer this for you, even though I know it was your question. But I'm gonna say that the one thing that drives me crazy is you watch 5 different TV shows at once. You start all these different shows, and we have like 1 episode or 2 episodes watched, and I don't know which one's the next one.
But only
I
me.
can't keep up.
It's just only me.
Well, generally,
Oh, okay.
generally.
Okay.
Well, that's the one I'm picking that I can still sleep with you tonight.
Okay.
Because I'm afraid to say anything else, I may have to be on the couch. I don't want that. Because I
Um,
have this never go to bed mad rule.
okay. So let's go to the next question. If you could relive one day with me from our past, which day would you pick?
Okay. Oh, that's a great question. Off the top of my head, I would say I would love to do our first date again with you because I love how I felt that day. Although
How do you feel
candidly,
that day?
candidly, I feel
Tell
that
us
way a
about.
lot. But I was incredibly nervous. But seeing you come around the
Why were you
corner,
nervous?
what do you mean, what was I nervous? I mean, I was nervous you'd like me. I was nervous that, honestly, I was thrilled when you walked around the corner because I was still suspect whether you're actually real or not because you never know. And let's be honest, your pictures on Facebook are so gorgeous that I thought for sure that they were not real. And I told you that. And I said, there's no way he looks like this. There's no freaking way. Came around the corner, you looked like that. And I know my face went big smile and I just felt great, and the whole date was amazing, and I love the way I felt that day. So
Okay,
if I and
That's
I
good.
feel like I repeat that all the time anyway, but that was just that special. Yeah, I'd love to have that again.
Okay, now that you say that, I cannot say that because well, you already said it, so it wouldn't be good. So actually, it was our first time at the beach because it was just us, the sun, no stress, no work, nothing. It was just an amazing afternoon at the beach,
Yeah,
and I still remember thinking that day, oh yeah, this is the guy that I want.
I remember that day as well. Actually, that's a good one. So anyway, so that's enough of the surprise questions. So,
Yes.
and we do them, kind of one is I actually want to hear his answers, but two is you get to know us a little bit better too. So,
Yes.
um, like anything else, one of the things we also talked about doing this podcast was, are people going to leave with anything other than just the real estate stuff, which we hope you get a lot out of that. But we also want you to leave, maybe there's a something or two that you learned from us because we've both been in some relationships in the past. So, this isn't our first relationship with each other. I mean, with each other, but this isn't our first relationship.
I was
So
like,
for
well,
in a
when was
past
the
life-
first relationship
in a
with each
in a
other?
past life, you didn't know that you were a table and I was a chair.
Okay.
Anyway, and we just thought, it'd also be good. Maybe there's a couple of things that we could throw at you that maybe it's a good thing. So, if you want to start, I'll let you do that first, and
Yes,
I'll
I
do
will
mine.
say I will say that my tip for this week would be laugh even if with the small stuff. Laugh about anything. Don't try to get mad about stupid little things. Like if your
Yeah.
partner left the door of the closet open, or if he left shoes all around, different shoes, files in the office. Don't get mad about that. Just laugh, put it away,
Yeah.
and go with it. Because it's like if
Yeah.
you can laugh about anything, everything's gonna be okay.
Yeah, I love that, and I'm a believer in that too. You can't get mad about everything, right? I mean, we all get annoyed at stuff. It's just human nature, right? And you
Yes,
just can't let
it
it
is.
all build. So mine is kind of the same tenet in that I just believe that, and he knows this about me. I pay attention to love language, and he knows that I take that seriously, and I pay attention to what's important to me. And one of the things that's important to me is showing appreciation or getting appreciation.
And do I show appreciation?
Of course you do.
How?
By saying the words that I love. Thank you. I appreciate you, amongst other things which we cannot discuss here.
Okay.
But those things are important to me, and I think that if you're all red, look at that. So if you don't know each other's love language, that is actually a really good exercise. We talked about this a couple of times, and it may sound corny, but it's actually helpful. I know what makes
What was
him
that word that you say?
corny.
Okay. I understood something different.
I
was
did
like,
not
"Why
say
are you
that.
saying
We are
that?"
still PG-13. We have not
Okay.
moved to a rated R podcast yet.
Okay. I was like, okay, why that word?
Oh dear Lord! So that whole point I just made went out the window because of that. But anyway, just say thank you.
Okay, everybody. That was everything for this week. Thank you so much for listening, Soul and Love from the Orange Shirts. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Don't forget to subscribe, give us a like, a review, or even comment. And don't forget, send us questions. We are always open to any questions or suggestions
Yes.
that you have. We are new to this and we are doing the best that we can, and we are learning every day a little bit more how to overcome. How do you say overcome obstacles?
Overcome
or
obstacles.
New things,
Yep. Nailed it.
So feel free to give us a like.
Yeah, give us feedback. We'll take it, good, bad. Hopefully, it's good. The other thing I would ask is, share this with somebody you know. Share it on your social media. Share it with friends and family. We'd really appreciate that as we try to expand sort of folks that are listening to us, and we get new ideas and thoughts to share with you. So, with that, all we can say is thank you, and we will see you next time from the Orange Chairs.
Have a great week, everybody. I was gonna say weekend, but then I remember it's just Monday. So how is the weekend so close?
well, we sort of have this notion that weekends start on Wednesday anyway.
Yeah.
Because we kind of work all weekend. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday's our weekend. That's when we
Yeah, kinda. Okay.
Anyway, take care.
Have a good week, everybody. Take care.